Hello and welcome to another cryptic crossword solve. This time it's by Boatman, number 29318, originally published Thursday the 29th of February 2024. I'm looking forward to this. I didn't get a chance to solve it when it was originally published. Usually with Boatman, since he's often on the harder side of the cryptic crossword clues, there is a theme, and I can already see just by scanning the clues that there are multiple references to pastry and cake, pastry again, tea, pastry, that sort of thing. So I suspect this is going to be quite an interestingly themed crossword. So let's have a look. Pastry base for Spooner's tinned meat. Spoonerism of tinned meat, I presume, gives us a pastry base. I think that's the correct way around. Nothing springs to mind, and I don't like spooners at the best of times. Let's look at one down. Somewhat like judo, master's pastry. Okay. A judo master is a dan, as in one dan, six dan, that sort of thing. And somewhat like, as the suffix is ish, and Danish is a type of pastry. Okay, 12 cross. Pastry made from short crust mix. Seconds wasted forgetting time and temperature. Okay. I think we're being told instructions here. So, seconds wasted forgetting time. I think if we take the word short crust and we take out the S's for seconds and the T for time and temperature, so there's two T's for time and temperature and two S's for seconds, I think what we're left with is, are we left with churro, if you anagramize what's left. I believe they're sort of Spanish sort of donuts, fried. 3 down. He mapped the source of the Orinoco after raising one of London's hospitals. The source of the Orinoco, I hope it's just the letter O. I think it's one of South America's longest rivers as well, but I don't think we're looking for the place where the river begins. I think we are just thinking of the letter O, which could very well be this one here already. Let's come back to that one. 2 down. Unboxed item. Import sale material. Yes, okay. If you unboxed, here is an instruction to remove the beginning and last letter from the words item, import, and sale. The definition is material, and if you do that, you get temporal. Um, 7 across. Pastry base for Spooner's tinned meat. Okay, a cake stand is a pastry base. As in something to put your cakes and pastries on. And I suppose steak canned is tinned meat. 9 across. Showed cop's note in pastry case by journalist. Absolutely no idea. We'll come back to him. 4 down. Under canvas, reportedly getting saturated. Okay, I want that to be intense for saturated. Intense, if you say it that way, with a slight T at the end. Presumably is under canvas if you're inside tents, which are made from canvases. I think I've seen this sort of clue before. Let's have another look at 9. Showed cop's note. Showed. Cops is DIs for detective inspector, plural. I think displayed would fit for showed as the definition. Journalist is ED. Note is la, as in do re mi fa so la, and pastry case is py. He mapped the source of the Orinoco after raising one of London's hospitals. Strabo was an old Greek geographer who I think did some travelling, and the reason that works with the clue, the wordplay, is St Bartholomew's Hospital in London is often colloquially referred to as Bart's Hospital, and the O giving us the order of the parts of the clue. 13 across. Flaky pastries displaying lack of density. Flaky, in this sense, is probably an anagram indicator. Pastry is 8 letters. Definition is therefore lack of density, so that would be sparsity. 11. Chai free to be served regularly here. Okay, so this is where you're looking for alternate letters, and if you start where the A is and go backwards for our beginning, you see you have CAFE. Indeed, cafe is where chai or tea would be served. 5 down, they're forbidden to eat buns filling in American cakes. Buns filling could be the letter U. And spelt the American way for American cakes, I guess, would be donuts, because don'ts are they're forbidden, your do's and your don'ts, and indeed stick a U in that and you have donuts. Type of cake that's a hit. Okay, I think there is a type of American cake called a pound cake, and I don't think I've ever had it. But to pound as a verb is to hit, and that's the definition. 10. Across pastry for tea, you say, made with cunning, missing topping. Okay, I think the definition here is pastry. Tea, you say, could actually just be the letter T if you say it out loud. A twirl is a type of pastry, and guile is cunning without the letter G for the missing topping. 6 down. Questioning limits of action. Awful yet ironic. Um, Questioning. Okay, that's quite nice actually. The definition here is questioning, and we're told we're looking for limits. And if you look at the outermost letters, a bit like the casing of these words, that's another word you could use. We have AN, AL, YT, IC, and analytic is questioning. I think it's also fair to note with particularly themed crosswords such as this that not every clue that you get will be to do with the theme. That would be too overwhelming. 17 across. Second rock cake is liable to produce vomit. Ugh. Okay, well, a rock cake here in the UK at least is a little bit like a scone. It has sort of fruit in it, currants and raisins, and it's a little more crumbly and quite sweet. I haven't had one in years, but they are delicious. Um, but I think the definition here is produce vomit. Rock could be an anagram indicator. So cake is 6 letters plus another S for second. And if you anagramize that, I'm fairly certain you can make seasick, and indeed for some people that will make them ill. 14 across. Excellent. This is one of Boatman's trademarks actually, where he will include or embed himself in the wordplay for a clue, or indeed in some cases, could even be part of the definition. So that's nice to see. So Boatman returns with kilo of rock cake. So I don't think the definition here is boatman. I think the definition here is cake. But boatman returns as an instruction could mean a fair few things, because particularly in cryptic crosswords, boatmen can be referred to as tars, they're sailors, they're able bodies, there's all sorts of different words or synonyms for a boatman, and he knows this, which is why he does it. Indeed, it could also be referring to the setter, in which case you could also have pronouns I, me, he, possibly. Okay, I think kilo of rock, so K for kilo is quite possible. Ah, yes, okay, so Boatman here is referring to AB for able-bodied, which is an old term for a sailor, but we're being asked to return it, so I think it's going to start like that. K for kilo, and then lava for rock, and baklava is a very sweet, sticky pastry from sort of Greece and Turkey, which is delicious. 16 down. Let off steam. In consequence, rejecting leader. So I can already tell what the answer is. If you vent as a verb, you let off steam. If you vent at something, you're giving somebody a piece of their, your mind. So we're looking for a word here which means consequence, where we're taking off the letter that's up here. So I suppose event would fit, and if I were to put that into a sentence, I could say in the event of, and that therefore means consequently. So I can see why he's sort of said consequence is a synonym for event. 20 across. Popular could be in. Small porker with head removed. Close say to wings. Hmm. Um, no idea about that. Need some more letters. I think 15 down. The ends of a journey and not getting sickness. That's unusual. Um, hmm, that's unusual. Just the definition here is unusual, as in strange, that sort of thing. Oh, abnormal would fit. Abnormal would fit. Why is that? Oh, that's quite nice actually. So nor is and not. It's neither one nor the other. Mal is sickness, as in a malady. Um, and if you go from A to B, you've gone from either end of your journey. And it's quite nice to actually see A B clued here differently to what it was here for um, Boatman or Seaman, but he couldn't really do the same thing here because that's kind of breaking some of the conventions. 20 across doesn't help still. 24 across, still quietly forward to get cake. Okay, I think this is one of those things where we have a word for steel and we're being asked to move a letter P up a few notches, say, which gives us a different word for another type of cake. And I know it's the letter P because P is quiet in musical notation, so I'd be amazed if it were anything else. Um, okay, creep is still, and crepe, as in a French pancake, if you move the P upwards, that would work. Okay, 21 down. Blended mince pie with rum. Um, mince pie with rum. I think this is very cleverly clued, actually. The definition here is blended, and I think mince is an anagram indicator. I mean, obviously either could be, but I think that's the way it's supposed to work here because pie plus rum is 6 letters. If you anagramize that, you get impure, which is blended. A mince pie, again here in the UK at least, and possibly elsewhere, is a sweet short crust pastry um, pie with a filling of mincemeat, and that mincemeat is sweet. It's often contains alcohol soaked, with fruit soaked in it and various other things. It's very rich and delicious. Okay, another reference to Boatman, excellent. So Boatman taken in by very much unknown type of cake. Um, so unknown typically is a sort of reference to mathematical unknowns such as x or y if you think about it in terms of algebra. Um, and I'm fairly certain that we could infer that this clue ends in the letter Y. That's quite nice. And now I can see the answer. Um, so very much is far, as in that will go far, and very much. And Boatman, as I said before, is a reference to the setter or I for Boatman if you think about it from his perspective. And there is a type of cake, again, I know them in the UK as fairy cakes, but they are small little sponge cakes that sometimes are nice to eat on their own, but sometimes people put sort of butter icing on them, and what have you. Okay, running out of letters. Let's try 19 down. Good pastry, short crust in parentheses, leads to intense cramps of the stomach. Ooh, okay. So off the stomach, immediately I can think of the word gastric. G for good would be indicated. And how does that work? Ah, yes, okay. So short crust here, it's actually the crust of pastry removed because it's short. So you can have G for good and then the letters ASTR, and then intense cramps of the stomach leads to, as in the beginning, the leads of intense and cramps is IC. Okay. Popular, small porker with head removed, close, say, to wings. Close, say. Oh, that's clever. I think this is insignia for wings. In is popular. So let's just have a look at that. How does that work? So a pig. Yeah, so small is the letter S. A pig is a porker with its head removed. So that's IG. And then close, say, is near. Signia. You could argue near and NIA spelled like that, similarly homophonic. Possibly a bit stretchy, I think, but I think Boatman gets some artistic license. Okay, 25 across. Track and field where his cattle wander. Okay. So wander is an anagram indicator. His cattle is 9 letters. Definition is track and field, and you can make the word athletics from that, where the sports contained therein are both on the track and the field. 23 down. Voracious eater of phyllo custard slice. Yeah, okay. So this is what's called a in bed, and the definition is a voracious eater, and we can see in this clue there is the word locust, and they definitely do eat lots of crops every year. 18 down. Beginning to confess, eating pastry. Definition here is beginning. Oh, okay. Yeah, so to confess in the slang sense, I suppose, is to sing. So if you grass somebody up, you confess to something, all of that kind of stuff. You know, you're singing. And eating pastry, that's just a container reference, and we're looking for a 4-letter word for pastry, and that is tart. Okay, 22 across. Messages ending bygone custom via papyri. Small progress. Yeah, so definition here is messages, and we're being told ending. And if you look at the last letters of bygone custom via Pyre small. Progress, you'll see E, so it starts there, EMAILS for emails, which are indeed a form of messages. 22. Pastry with problematic calories. Not so. Um, hmm, Problematic calories makes me think of an anagram of calories, but there's too many letters, and that's because we are being told, quite literally here, not so. So we take out S and O from calories and we anagramize it, and I'm pretty certain we can make the word eclair, which are French pastries, choux buns with creme pat or cream and chocolate on the top. They're delicious. Um, and last but not least, 6 against 1, humbled ultimately by head's clarity. Head's clarity. 6 against 1. Okay, 6 is VI in Roman numerals. Yes, okay. Okay, this is nice actually. The answer is vividness. And the definition is therefore clarity. So let's put that in. Just explain that. So 6 against 1 is VI for 6, and then gain. Against V is versus, plus 1 is VI again, so it's VI, but just clued differently. Humbled ultimately, well, the last letter of humbled is the letter D, and then head here isn't an anatomical reference, it's a geological or geographical reference, and ness is another word for headland, particularly cliffs and that sort of thing. So that's how that works. And we are done, which is great. This was an excellent crossword, and again, as I said at the beginning, Boatman has this very, very nice style of being fair, but sometimes firm, and with his trademark of adding himself into the clues and the theme itself, it was a joy to solve. I think as well, it's worth pointing out that some of the constructs that you would have seen about being told about the endings of um, the wordplay being the means to get the answer is something which does crop up time and again in many other crosswords, but Boatman does delight in using some of these techniques, and that's lovely to see here. And there were a few other examples where we were looking at the sort of casing or the unboxing of clues. So that's another example. So these things do come up, and that's nice to see. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.